Yo, what is good everyone? Welcome to this quick guide on essential combat mechanics with the sword and shield and Wayfinder. These will not only increase your DPS and survivability, but also make combat feel much more satisfying as you flow like a ninja gladiator. This is focused entirely around player input mechanics and has nothing to do with gear level or build, so if you master these tactics, you will be able to apply them to any sword and shield on any character. Alright, so the sword and shield, which is also known as the Guardian weapon class in Wayfinder, has two basic types of weapon attacks that can be woven together into combos. These are primary attack and alt attack. Primary attack will be with your sword and deals additional health damage, while alt attack will be with your shield and deals additional break damage. And break is this little yellow bar above some enemies. If you deplete it, it will shatter and then will take more damage while being staggered by your attacks. We also have our own yellow bar that does the same thing, and this is known as resilience. Primary attack has a combo sequence of 6 attacks chained together with the sword, while alt attack has a combo sequence of 4 attacks chained together with the shield. These can each be done independently, or they can be woven together in any order, which we will look at in a minute. First, let's take a look at an easy way to optimize these combos for more DPS and survivability through a concept called animation canceling. What this refers to is the idea that certain animations in games have a visual sequence they must go through before you can move or act with your character again. So in Wayfinder, if you look at the main sword sequence, on the finisher swing there is this long sort of pause before you can start to move or attack again. And same thing with the alt attack's final slam with the shield. So what we can do with animation canceling is instantly move out of that final animation as soon as the swing damage registers and go directly into another action, basically canceling the end of our animation with our next action instead of just standing there. Now from what I can tell so far, there are 3 primary ways to animation cancel in Wayfinder with sword and shield: dodging, blocking, and abilities. Performing any one of these actions just after a swing in your combo will enable you to cancel that animation and move fluidly into your next action with 0 downtime. This will not only significantly increase your DPS over longer fights, but also increase your survivability by allowing you to avoid damage in between attack combinations. Dodging will often be the cancel of choice as long as we have the stamina for it because of how it chains directly into a movement attack to set up the next combo, which we will discuss in a minute. We can also dodge in any direction, with forward dodge allowing us to close the gap on enemies, and backward dodge allowing us to quickly avoid damage before diving back in. If we don't have the stamina for a dodge, we can also animation cancel at any point for free by quickly tapping block. This will lift our shield for a split second and let us go directly into the next attack or start to move. We can also simply leave our shield raised if we are about to get hit by an attack, and remember that with the Guardian weapon class, if we time an attack immediately after a successful block, it will perform a block counter, dealing a large amount of damage. When in doubt, block cancel, because you will always be able to lift your shield for a split second even if you are out of stamina with all abilities on cooldown. And this brings us to our final animation canceller, which is our abilities. Just like dodge and block, we can go directly into an ability at the end of a combo to cancel the animation and continue our assault. Alright, now that we understand animation canceling, let's get into combos. These attack combinations and the animation cancels we just discussed can be used fluidly together to deal maximum damage of the appropriate type, while quickly chaining into the next combo with the cancel. I'm not going to cover every possible combo, instead we're going to look at some of the most powerful to get started, and you can use your creativity and flow to iterate from there. The first form is the primary attack with sword 6 times in a row. This will give you maximum possible health damage and will end with a downward slashing finisher that hits hard. The second form is alt attack with shield 4 times in a row. This will give you max possible break damage to enemies that have a yellow resilience bar and will end with an AoE shield slam. Note that with Vanguard, this final shield slam with alt attack will store a latent power pip for the weapon ability. At any time, we can also jump to skip the entire alt attack sequence and go directly into the shield slam finisher, which can be a great way to engage enemies or bank a latent power pip. We'll call this YOLO Form 0. The simplest variation of our main combos is to simply change the final finisher at the very end of the combo over to the other type of attack. So 5 primary sword attacks in a row with an alt attack shield slam to finish, or 3 alt shield attacks with a primary sword attack to finish. We can use these to quickly vary our damage type at the end of the combo if we realize we need more break damage than health damage, or vice versa. You'll notice that in addition to animation canceling with abilities, we can actually weave some abilities into the middle of a combo without resetting it, while others make us restart the combo sequence from the beginning. For example, on Wingrave, it seems like I can consistently use his Radiant Pulse and Judgment at any point during a combo and go right back into it afterwards, whereas Righteous Strike resets the combo chain. And I've actually had Righteous Strike not reset the combo chain a couple times, so it might just be a matter of proper timing to make all abilities work. Now let's talk about the run and dodge attack, which I'll refer to as a movement attack. You can trigger a movement attack by hitting either primary or alt attack while sprinting. Primary attacking will send you forward into a sword thrust, while alt attack will charge forward with a shield bash. We can also trigger a movement attack at any point during the dodge animation, which works in the same way. If we chain these together, we can sprint into a movement attack, into a dodge, into a movement attack, and keep going until we run out of stamina. We can chain these together for max distance, or we can chain them together for max speed, depending on what we are trying to accomplish. And this can be done with both the primary sword and alt shield attack. Now, the most important thing to note about the movement attack is that if we do the alt attack shield bash into one more alt attack, it will put us right at the end of our combo to initiate our finishers. Additionally, it seems to randomly skip one attack in the chain sometimes to allow the finisher to happen even sooner, and to be honest, I'm not sure why this happens or if it is even intended. But even without that, using the alt movement attack with our shield into one more alt attack will put us at the end of our combo with our sword, allowing us to get our final sword finisher in as quickly as possible in just 4 total moves. Starting out with a movement alt attack, into an alt attack, into a primary attack, into the primary attack finisher. This is a very strong combo for larger mobs with resilience because you get good break damage from the first part of the combo and then big health damage from the second part of the combo, and it all happens very quickly. You can also vary this to be a full alt attack combo where you shield swing 4 times into a ground slam, or even weave the third attack to alternate where it could go. Movement alt attack, primary attack, alt attack finisher, or movement alt attack, primary attack finisher. In general, movement attacking with the primary sword attack is great when you want to focus on more health damage, trying to poke enemies down, or trying to finish them off as you dash toward them. Taking a look at weaving the combos, you'll notice that you don't skip to the second step of the shield combo until you've done the third sword swing of the primary attack. So if you swing once or twice with the sword primary attacks before going into shield alt attacks, you'll still start the shield combo at the very beginning of the sequence. So taking a look at these forms, we can progress to 3 primary sword attacks into 3 alt shield attacks, 4 primary sword attacks into 2 alt shield attacks, and finally 5 primary sword attacks into 1 alt shield attack, which brings us back to the previous forms we were discussing. Remember, we could vary the finisher of any of these combos simply by swapping the final attack in the sequence. You could easily switch these shield slams over to the downward slash if the situation called for more health damage than break damage, and vice versa. Finally, we'll take a look at the 2 fully alternating combos where we are switching back and forth between sword and shield with every swing, and notice whether we start with the primary sword attack or the alt shield attack, both will end with the shield slam finisher. Remember, again, we can easily vary this final swing to be the primary finisher with the sword instead of the shield slam. So that should be enough combos to get you started between weaving the primary attack with sword and the alt attack with shield with abilities, and then adding the animation cancels in between with dodges and blocks. I think you can get some really amazing creative combat flow going, and I hope you take these concepts and turn them into your own and become a totally badass gladiator warrior ninja master. My name is Zick, and I really enjoy making builds and guides for RPGs, and based on my limited amount of gameplay so far with Wayfinder, I can definitely see myself doing much more Wayfinder content in the future. So I hope you found it valuable, and if you want to see more stuff like this, let me know what you're looking for in the comments. Alright, that's all I got for this one. Happy wayfinding, take care of yourself, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.